Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the Noon News from Montana's news leader.
Good Wednesday afternoon. Welcome to the MTN Noon News. I'm Victoria Hill in for Samantha Sullivan. It was a dangerous and deadly 48 hours on Montana's waterways as 3 different water recoveries are performed across the state. First in Great Falls, we now know the couple that died in a jet ski crash on the Missouri River were in fact wearing their life jackets. We're told 66-year-old Dennis Sire and 57-year-old Karen Sire died after their watercraft collided around 4:30 Tuesday afternoon. There was no one else involved in the accident. Montana Fish, Wildlife and Parks is conducting the accident investigation, while the Cascade County Sheriff's Office is conducting the coroner's report. FWP's game warden, Captain Dave Holland, reminds everyone to be careful while on the river and always wear personal flotation devices. Near Helena, search and rescue crews recovered the body of a missing diver in the Canyon Ferry Reservoir Tuesday afternoon. Divers, sonar-equipped boats, along with search and rescue dogs, scoured the lake Tuesday looking for the out-of-state man who went missing on Monday. Authorities say the victim, who has not been identified, may have had equipment troubles. And authorities have yet to release the name of the 16-year-old male whose body was recovered from the Clark Fork River in Missoula Tuesday morning after running from law enforcement. And now we turn our attention to weather and say hello to Ed over in the Weather Center. How's it going, Ed?
It's going okay. You know, you were talking about the dangers out on the water, and that's where we're going to focus to get started because we've had strong winds develop across central and western Montana, and that's causing problems as far as the waterways go. So there are a lot of lake wind advisories into effect in the western portion of the state, from the Flathead Valley extending all the way down into southern Idaho. Meantime, eastern Montana, Wyoming, and the Dakotas are dealing with the potential for strong to severe thunderstorms later in the day. Some of that could involve gusty winds, hail, and pockets of some heavier rain. Right now, most of that activity moving off to the Dakotas, but another wave expected into the region. We'll take a closer look at that with the forecast coming up.
Thank you so much, Ed. A financial audit shows Montana's Secretary of State, Corey Stapleton, improperly used a state vehicle to commute from Helena to his home in Billings, more than 200 miles away. The legislative auditor says Stapleton racked up 27,000 miles on the state pickup truck during his first 18 months on the job. The auditor referred the findings to the state attorney general's office as violation of state law. In response, Stapleton says long-term state vehicle leases are allowed to support an office mission and suggested his use was related to telework. But the auditor says long-term leases do not authorize commuting more than 30 miles away. Stapleton's office canceled its lease on the truck in April after being told of the violation. The state attorney general's office says it's reviewing the findings. Montana Attorney General Tim Fox and Montana Highway Patrol Chief Tom Butler have been at the U.S.-Mexico border since Sunday, meeting with law enforcement officials in Texas and New Mexico. Both Montanans said they're convinced the recent surge of migrants seeking entry into the United States is a crisis with direct impacts on Montana. Fox and Butler say that means more methamphetamine is making its way to the U.S., including Montana, because Border Patrol has had its hands full with the number of migrants crossing. When Fox was asked whether his visit is simply promoting his 2020 campaign for governor, he said his firsthand look at the border makes him a better informed advocate to urge action by Congress to help solve the problem.
Much of the crime in Montana, it's no secret, is driven by the increase in drugs coming to our state from across our southern border. And there's only so much we alone can do in Montana. And while my office has ramped up operations with our federal, tribal, and local law enforcement partners, the solution must be a national effort.
Fox is one of 3 prominent Republicans running for governor in 2020. And now in Bozeman, there are questions surrounding the repair of the Bogart Shell ice rink 3 months after the roof caved in from heavy snow. Other than some new fencing, the shell looks the same as it did the day the roof collapsed in March. City officials are trying to determine the cost of repairs after learning insurance won't cover the damages. Community members remain concerned over the project.
I think this incident has really elevated that conversation and awareness to really how important these facilities are as a public asset. We really are taking this seriously and want to make sure that we can repair what's there.
The department plans to bring the issue to the Board of Commissioners in July. And now we go to Butte, where community leaders are pushing for a second flight out of the Butte Airport, which currently only flies to Salt Lake City. The Fly Butte campaign is pushing to raise $200,000. They hope to entice United Airlines to also fly to Denver. Officials say the sooner the money is raised, the more Butte will benefit.
This is exactly how all the other communities statewide have done it. So if you look at the airports in Bozeman, Missoula, Kalispell, Great Falls, Billings, I mean, this is how they're growing their airport.
What we need to do as a community is we need to put some funds together so that we can have a revenue guarantee so that then we can seriously look at bringing in an additional flight.
And there will be a public meeting at the airport tonight to discuss the fund.